Hello and welcome at the Cosmic Unity Temple podcast. And today we are talking about early summer and what's going on with us during this time. What's going on? What's happening in the air? What's in the air? What nature is doing at this time of the year and how we following that cycle. I'm Dorota and I'm here with my co-host Sabinka. And let's
Welcome.
go for it.
All right, summer. Summer. What do you think about summer? Fire element, the sun. There's so much sun coming our way, and it's just like a lot of energy, and the day is very long, so we can accomplish a lot of stuff if we want to. I feel that it might be a little triggersome season because it's just in our face, and we see abundance of plants and fruits, and we see just so much happening. And if we are not the people who are in that space, it will trigger some. It's gonna make us question and think about our life, and we might either go deeper into that corner or take that opportunity, take the energy, use the sun energy, and work through things. There's a lot to be worked through during the summer.
Yeah, let the fire burn, right? Within the organs
Passion.
that we want to, exactly, passion, that we want to talk about a little bit today are heart and the small intestines. There's a lot in the early summer, the whole endocrine system, and that's just way too much to fit in one podcast. So we're going to concentrate on heart and small intestines. And what do they say, Sabina? What do they do? How do we do around it?
Okay, so when I think about the heart, I think about the heart chakra, and the heart chakra is the I am enough place. So
Mm-hmm.
anything, so that's why, the abundance, I mentioned abundance. And they also say that actually summer is like the easiest season to heal. And maybe we can find more balance in that season because there is so much more light, which most of us need. We need more light. So am I enough? And anything that triggers us with feeling that we don't have enough, or we are not enough, or we don't have something to give, will bring that out, and that is the abundance. So summer is the month of abundance, and it will trigger those emotions within us. And when it comes to the hearts, there's pretty much like 20 emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And we feel like it's important to talk about because heart actually, when you think of the heart and its chakra placement, it's in the middle of all these other chakras. So there's three that are on top, and then there's three that are on the bottom. It kind of connects those two worlds, the etheric, spiritual world, and the physical, material world. And the heart is like this balance of everything that's here on this plane and everything that's below and above. So it
Like the
does
gate in
so
between the
much,
worlds.
right? And in every direction. And heart
Mm-hmm.
is about the direction. So it's like, we come here and we get this organ called heart, and it's about finding our own direction. It's about being real with who we are and finding where we're going. So all the emotions that imbalance that will be attached to the heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we are to follow the heart because that's our purpose. And when we exist for the ego, trying to be something that we're not coming from the heart space. And they say that heart is number one. I don't want to use the word killer, but it's like number one thing that affects people's health. And there's the most deaths that happen with the heart. And it just transfers over, like I said, it's emotional, but it's also very physical. Like it's about what we eat, what we put into our body. It's all about self-love and self-care. We have a different podcast that we did on self-care. So if you want to check that out, we're gonna put some text to it on the bottom and by the video. But it's about us being able to give ourselves what we need. Okay. And that is food, and that is all the nutrients and elements. And Dorotka, you jump in whenever you feel like there's something you want to
I was
add.
waiting for that space.
There you go. Here you go. I read your mind.
Yeah, for me, for me, a heart and a fire element. I look at the earth and it's just exploding with energy. It's bringing the sun. It's bringing the rain currently in Texas. But this is all nourishment, right? It needs to produce it. It doesn't have all the fruits yet. We have little things, but that before the harvest time comes, it's that production time, is that intense work, is that moving the soil, is the watering the plants, is removing the weeds, it's observing and nourishing those plants in a soil. And that's what nature does. That's what we do in our gardens. Now, transferring that into our beings, we thought that all the internal work was finished when we went to late spring and we were working through shadows. No. Uh-uh. By all means.
No.
This is where production of or pulling out the better self is really deepening. Now we looked at what we have and now we're pulling out the weeds. Now we're pulling out those things that no longer serve purpose in our life. Now we are looking at the grounds we are standing on. Is this what I want to be my base? Is this where I want to build? Am I in the right spot in life, in my mind, in my heart? Where are my emotions around that? What am I thinking around where I'm at in life at the current time? And that's what it relates for me as the fire element in the beginning of the summer. All these actions that we are taking to get to that moment where we can grab those fruits of our work, what we were doing from the late winter to through the spring, late spring, and early summer. So weeding and feeding. That's what we do. Weeding the bad ones, feeding the good ones, and moving that forward with that fire within the heart. There is a lot of emotions, like you said. There is a lot of still internal work, which I don't think ever finish. We keep going deeper and deeper into our being, discovering new things that we may not be aware a year ago. It wasn't there because we didn't have enough knowledge. We didn't travel deep enough into our being. But today we can discover something new and bring more healing to ourselves and make more space, better space to bring that, building up that soil, that base, right?
Hmm. Right. And, if you think, because when you think about winter and the spring, it seemed like it was a lot of like mental work,
Mm-hmm.
emotional and mental work. But now in the summer, it's putting those things into action. It's not only us thinking about it and getting guidance, but it's like really physically
Processing.
seeing how it's gonna work, how it's gonna connect with other things. And if we think that life is easy, no, it's work. Okay, yes, you have to get rid of the program that it's hard and it's dreadful. You got to get rid of those ideas, but it's still work. It's still you getting out there and like Dorota said, and I love that, pulling out those weeds. It's just getting rid of the things that don't work for you and are in the way of your own growth.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's just being in a place where you're aware and seeing those things like, oh, okay, this is not working. And one interesting thing that I came across today was that word sympathy and empathy
Mm-hmm.
are on the same spectrum and they're the opposites. And I was like, what does that mean? And that word came out like with the heart, when our heart is not fully strong and healed, we will tend to please others, right? Because we
Mm-hmm.
are sympathetic. And, we
Mm-hmm.
think, okay, being sympathetic is a good thing, right? It's like you have to have
Yeah.
some
Mm-hmm.
sympathy. And I went online just to see, okay, what do you mean? So it feels like, I mean, it is, sympathy is us feeling somebody's suffering, somebody's pain, but maybe coming from a place of pity a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas empathy is understanding where that is coming from. So it's like almost living through an experience
Mm-hmm.
of whatever that person already lived through, but you're already in a place where you learn, what the lesson in that is. So you're in a different place. So that's why they're the opposites. So when we come here and working from that heart is just us finding our own strength. And when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to those emotions, they divided those emotions into four different places. So like the heart has emotions that are affecting our center. So any of those things that we were talking about a little bit earlier, they're constricting. So it's like my heart is strong, it beats strong, I feel doing this, but there's things that are constricting you and not allowing you to expand your energy as much as you want. Then there's emotions that have to do with protection. So you feeling like, somebody is going to wound you. So your heart is not strong enough. It doesn't feel strong enough. And then there's strengths, and strengths would be those unhealthy attachments that are pulling on you, affecting you. And then you're not in your own place. And isn't there a saying? How does that go? Like I was just thinking, you got to work from your heart. The mind helps with other things. I feel like the mind helps with those logistical things when it comes to the physical world, how
Mm-hmm.
things work, how you put things together. But the mind doesn't necessarily help us with the issues of the heart, because it's coming
It's a
from a
troublemaker.
different place. Yeah, it's a troublemaker. So this is the thing. It's like detaching from our mind and our emotional self and really following the heart. And when you do that, your intestines is going to be feeling better, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just, I'm gonna
Those
just,
emotions is easier, right?
right. I'm gonna just say a few, just to give you an example. So, like loneliness would be an emotion, but you gotta learn how to be connected with all that is. Then, feeling of being scattered, supposedly those strings, they detach your energy, and you're feeling connected to all these things all over. So that would be the scattered. Or feeling longing for something, like you're always longing for something else. You're not feeling at home here within your heart. And then wanting to please others, and then draining. There's so much. So
Thing would be, like you said, the heart affects other parts or aspects of ourselves. If we have emotional blockages, if we have emotional issues, our intestines are going to have issues because we don't digest the emotions, right? Preparing the soil, preparing your body, working through the aspects that irritate the heart, that are challenging to digest, and then we need to find outlet for that. And there's a lot of help, physical, right, like movements. For me, it's always walking in the nature. That's very grounding for me and helps me to process things. Also, to see things in a different light so I can move through those emotions. Connecting with the nature, observing the nature, like even seeing this process within the earth, how she does that.
when you were
Right.
talking about observing the earth, when you think about the dirt
Mm-hmm.
and the
Mm-hmm.
compost that's in there,
Mm-hmm.
it's all the things that are in there that I digested pretty much. Like
Mm-hmm.
everything's
Right.
composted, digested. So it feels like everything in our life we gotta digest. We cannot be hung up about, oh, she said, he said, this
Mm-hmm.
happened. Oh, I look like, you know, I get embarrassed or whatever. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot hold on to those things. You have to digest them. And they say that liver, pancreas, and the small intestines all, not sure if they produce, but they all bring enzymes to the small intestine. And enzymes are the things that digest. So when we can't really digest, and then, just not comparing, but explaining how the emotional and physical work. When
Mm-hmm.
emotionally we cannot digest an idea, we're going to affect our physical body, and we're going to
Mm-hmm.
weaken that digestive system, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when it comes to the intestine, it's one of the emotions is being cynic. So not really believing, having that there's maybe some an agenda, blah, blah, blah. But the opposite of that and how to heal that emotion is being understanding. So like the word I understand is helping us digest things.
Mm-hmm.
So lack of understanding would be because that intestine is weaker and we can't we can digest things. Um, and
Hit that
then
with the enzyme,
yeah,
understanding
and they see,
enzyme.
and for people who do have issues with digestion, think about that. Okay, am I holding on to the things that I constantly think about? And again, it's the mind that's butting its business into our heart
Right.
and it's
Stop
taking
messing up with my
over,
intestines.
right? You let it go. This is be in the heart space. Let it go so your intestine, your body can physically, it will be a mirror of you. So if you can't emotionally digest things, your physical body will show you that. So being cynic or like the word phony, being phony is
Mm-hmm.
also not, when you're not real. And
Mm-hmm.
if you're not being real with yourself, you suspect others not being real with themselves. And then you don't really understand their,
Ginger and fennel are helpful with digestion. So when you think ginger, it brings out the fire to digest emotion. When you think fennel, it moves the water, right?
other emotion is abandonment that connects to intense
Oh, yeah.
small intestines. And when you think about, and there's this interesting connection between the heart and the small intestine when you think about these emotions, because the heart
Mm-hmm.
is I am not feeling enough. When you're not feeling enough, so you're supposed to feel
Mm-hmm.
abandoned,
Spent. Uh-huh.
right? And then when you feel abandonment is you're not enough. You don't have enough. You feel like you're left alone by somebody. Somebody's not
Mm-hmm.
there. You're feeling lonely. So that connects to the heart again. Feeling scattered, pleasing others because you don't feel, like you have others in your life. They really go together. It's very interesting. The heart will feel it.
And then you got the gut feeling, right?
Yeah.
Your heart is, or your heart chakra is not processing those emotions because the head gets in a way. And then your digestive system is not working properly. What happens if your digestive system is not working properly? What does it affect? It affects everything else. A lot of
Toxins
times,
back
so
into the body, right?
yeah, if you can't absorb nutrients, then what happens with your body? It's lacking of things that are needed for basic function. Very often you will see skin issues and they come from within, right? So what's going on your skin? Look inside of your gut and you will get the answer.
And nice thing that you pointed out that we can bring more attention to is when it comes to that absorbing, so taking in things, right?
Mm-hmm.
So giving also connects with the heart. But when you don't feel enough, you feel like you don't have nothing to give.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be the absorption. So sometimes, we'll find situations where somebody is taking all these vitamins and is doing all this emotional work and is trying to heal and heal and heal, but there's this underlying situation where they probably are not aware of that their receiving
Mm-hmm.
channel is lacked for whatever reason. If
Yes.
it's for instance, an illusion of, I'm going to be a victim. I'm going to create this illusion because I don't want to take action because why? Maybe I fear that I'm not going to make it. I'm going to fail. I'm going to repeat something from the past, blah, blah, blah. But it's like you're blocking yourself from action, from
Mhm.
receiving whatever comes your way. And even, in healing work, and I'm sure you, Dorotka, feel that too. It's like sometimes, you work with people and, they come, they want to have a session, they want to do healing work, but there's a black. They're
Yes.
blocking it. They don't, they are not conscious that somewhere they don't want it. And so you got to find what's the reason for that. Why are you not absorbing the good
Hmm.
stuff?
Yes.
And yeah, it's really
Personal example, receiving and absorbing. Well, sometimes we say to whomever in the family, well, why don't you tell me what's going on? Just come on, tell me what's going on. And then
mhm,
when then someone tells you what's going on, you're like, oh, and dismiss it. So you do want to know, but you don't want to receive it.
right.
You don't make a space to receive
Mhm.
it. And the other thing is about the locking the heart. When you lock your heart to one thing, you are locking it, you are locking yourself out from receiving anything else. Because when we lack that main pump of receiving, we are locking ourselves, not just, for example, okay, you hurt me, I'm not gonna love again. But we not locking ourselves out just from loving, from having also, so that abundance, it's flying out the window or hitting the glass on a window because the window is closed. That good luck, it doesn't come through your door because your door is shut, right? You keep claiming that you have no luck, you have no people in your life, but you are the one who locked yourself out. So having yourself asking a question to get something but not being open to receive it, it's huge conflict and you are going nowhere asking for someone to come in and locking the door, barricading yourself basically, right? From receiving.
Yeah. When you think about Mother Earth, and we are physical beings, so we are one with the
Mm-hmm.
earth, and Mother Earth has her heartbeat. She's got her song, just like we have. Each of us has our own heartbeat, and has our own song. And when that abandonment, going back to the abandonment, it's when you are not feeling a part at one moment. You're
Mm-hmm.
not feeling a part of everything that there is. Like Dorota said, like you're locking yourself out. You're not plugged into that flow of abundance. You're not receiving because you feel that you're lonely, alone, and that is not true. Like all these hearts, they beat together. We produce this frequency, and that's what it is. And that's when you
Mm-hmm.
heal. And having a strong heart, it's well, when it comes to, somebody hurt me, it's about you're not really understanding the other person's perspective or feelings,
Mm-hmm.
and having empathy for that.
Mm-hmm.
you know and seeing that there's a greater thing here, and it's helping me, and universe supports me. So it's letting things go, flowing with life. Maybe life doesn't think that's a good match for me. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we fight for it, but it's not something that we should be fighting for. One good thing is to just look, where are you feeling with your heart? Is your
Mm-hmm.
heart happy? Is your heart being supported, or is your heart wounded? So when you're praying with a wounded heart, you're probably praying for things that align with that wounded self. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's just better to focus on yourself and find your own directions back. Get that heart stronger again, and then you will align with others who are doing the same work. And it's
Yeah, and
work.
keeping the thinker in a control helps a lot.
Yeah. The thinker is good with other thinking things.
Yeah.
The
Let
heart
the
doesn't
thinker
even
do
have
the
proof.
numbers.
Oh yeah, there you go. Isn't that funny? Like the mind, yeah, the
Yeah.
mind is good for other things.
Mhm. I was doing internal work with the four bodies, came up with modality to process things in my life when I moved first to Texas. And my mental body just wanted to take over and show every single one of them how it's done. This is how you do it. And I'm in control. I'm the king.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And and it's like you can look at people like this. There's one
Hmm.
who always wants to be in control, or why? You don't understand others. You don't see others. And it has to do with the throat, like, right?
Hmm.
Allowing others to have the opinion. Everybody allows each other for an opinion, and that's okay. That doesn't really say if it's right or wrong. Like, we have our own ways of doing it. But yeah,
Being
for
open
bodies.
to receiving other perspective and at the same time standing with your own. That doesn't mean that you exclude your thoughts or your points of view
Exactly.
because somebody has different ones. It's
Mhm.
uh, the same thing with personality. We have color personality colors, right? We have different labels for different way of being. I don't always agree with them, but it doesn't affect me that they are there. I'm just being me here right now, doing my thing. And
Right.
yeah,
And it's about doing our thing.
yeah, definitely. I'm working my garden. You can work your garden.
Yeah. And then
Sometimes
we
we
learn
meet in the
from each
middle.
other. Right. And it's beautiful to have other people and other perspective. It's just like, can you imagine only you in the world?
No, that's
You
so
know?
sad.
It would be
Mm,
so sad because there's other things that are so needed, other ideas. And then what's really hard for us to bring in is that, when we stumble, having another
mm,
person to pick up, that's just like amazing. Allowing that teamwork versus always being the one doing everything alone,
mm,
just feeling responsible for everything. It's like, let other people have their responsibilities, let them do their work, let them do, it's so much easier. I mean, it took me a long time to come to this conclusion because I
mm,
would be always doing things myself, myself, myself. I gotta do
mm,
this and I gotta do this, and it's overwhelming and it's too much, and it's like it's so much that you don't even want to go there. But when you allow others and you share your load, just like in a village with all these women back in the day,
mm.
these are
Right.
taking care of kids, these are making food, these are cleaning, versus you taking care of kids, making food, cleaning, doing everything alone.
Yeah.
Ah!
In the old days, I remember there was like when I was growing up in a village where my grandmother used to live. The neighbors would go to work on a field of my grandmother's, and then my grandmother would go and work on a field of the others. And they were helping each other because the more hands they put before the machines, time, more hands they put on a field, the faster they finish, and the crops could grow better. The weeding, pulling out the weeds. So the same thing with when it comes to healing. I always had that question in mind, and Tinker was helpful here. Who heals the healer? Who heals the healer? You
Right.
can do a lot of things on your own, and self work and self healing is self care. It's really important. It's when you learn a lot about yourself. But when there's a time when you are stuck in a place and you can't move forward because you just don't have that tool or that awareness of the information. Maybe you just need somebody to ask you the right question so you can find the answer, right? And then we need to be open to ask for help and then open to receive that help. And then when you are open to receive, and then absorbing, it's easy,
What's the,
right?
yeah. What's the issues? I think, sometimes when we don't trust, even if somebody means well for us, we might kind of dismiss that because we don't trust that
Mm-hmm.
they're being real with
Mm-hmm.
who they are and what they bring.
But then you have to find out where the distrust came from,
Hmm.
the root of it, right? Why
Which is
why I
revenge.
don't trust, betrayal. What happened, you know, with emotional stuff prior to that. Sometimes it's years to discover that that little thing that happened when you were 3 years old and the kid from next door neighbor took your lollipop and that created trauma. And then you think that people come in and visit you to just take things away,
Stuff.
right?
Mhm.
And no sweet stuff. It's
Literally.
about it's about that
Yes.
lollipop.
And it all comes down to the connection with everything that is. I mean, honestly,
Yes.
underneath it all, underneath all the issues, all the experiences, it's us feeling connected to the source is beating with everything else as one.
Mhm. Uh, it takes away from the internal fight and external fight. Yeah,
Hmm.
brings that understanding. Um, I remember long, 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 long time ago when I stepped onto this journey of self discovery and spiritual life, when I heard in oneness and we are one, it was so superficial for me.
Yeah,
I did not get it.
I
What do you
know, me
think?
too. I'm
We
like, what do you
supposed to
mean,
think the
one?
same?
Yeah, exactly.
Boring.
It takes a long time to process what that truly means.
Hmm.
It has nothing to do with the character. It has nothing to do with your personal gifts. It's just your life, like everything else. You're a
Hmm.
being having this experience and whatever that is. But my husband recently told me this story that he saw this video of, oh my goodness, name. The enlightened, oh my gosh, I forgot his name, of him crying,
Uh
and
huh.
people asked him, why are you crying? And he said, I'm crying because we all came here to help each other. We are
Hmm.
all here to help each other. So that's this oneness. We're all supposed to be on the same side, growing, doing good, seeing good within each other, not being the enemy. And that is like a good way of explaining of what one means. It's us going in the same direction, being
Hmm.
real. It's like nature, right? A tree
Hmm.
knows it's a
Or your
tree,
physical body,
right?
actually. Well, you have so many organs inside. You
Mm,
have this big organ skin that holds the bones together with the muscles, ligaments, and all the other good stuff. And everything looks different. Every organ looks different, has
yeah,
different function, creates different troubles for you if you don't do what you need to do. But it's all your body. It's there to support you.
right.
It's that vessel that you carry this amazement,
I
this
know.
this this purity, that divine spark within. Yeah.
I love that. I
So.
love that analogy. And they actually do compare Mother Earth to a physical body because she's got veins like
Hmm.
rivers. She has all these body systems that she
What's
also
your yoke?
needs.
She's got.
I don't know. The mind, things are born in there.
What happens in the yolk creation? I think that my yolk is a little bit
Womb.
lower
There you
than
are,
the
the
head.
womb. I think that sums it all, right?
I think so. It's a lot, but the a lot comes to one thing. The beginning of the summer is the fire element. It's the drive for creating the right space for the right work to be accomplished. And we are the soil. Whatever internally we have, one is going to be wheat that we pull, and it will just be the fertilizer for whatever we are building next, right? After
Hmm.
we clear the soil. So we are busy summer doers, and I know you have a lot that you are doing. We will be posting links to our busy schedules, and you can join us in activities in person or online. Do you want to talk about what you have going on this summer, Sabina?
Yes, sure. So this summer, me and another lady, we're putting our forces together. She has a farm and she has all kinds of camps going. She's a music teacher. She has a water song learning center, and I am coming in as an artist, and we're going to be putting together. We already put together some art camps for kids that are younger on the younger spectrum. Then there's teenagers and also adults. With the adults, we're gonna have a meditation going, like a drum meditation and painting. And whenever it comes to me and art, for those who know me, I always implement healing work in it. So it's not necessarily about how the final picture will look like. It's about you and your experience working through that picture, getting your voice out, listening to your heart. The drum is to awaken that heart within you. So
I love
it's
that. So
pretty
you connecting the
exciting.
drums, you're
Hmm.
connecting the drums with the painting. So you're
Hmm.
gonna assist playing drums during the art workshop.
Right.
That's really cool. I love that
Yeah,
part.
thank you. Yeah, it's
I
gonna be fun.
great. Yeah,
And
yeah.
you?
So are these summer camps for kids,
Therefore,
adults,
yes,
everybody?
kids, everybody, there's three different classes. It's, I believe, from age 4 to 9, then from 10 to 14, and from 15 to adult.
Mm-hmm.
There's one class where it's only adults, and there's one class where you can come with your child and do and take a class. And
Oh wow.
for the young ones, we're going to be doing art, earth art. So we're going into nature, finding rocks, making paint from natural pigments, playing with,
Wow.
just putting things together, making them look like mandalas and all that stuff.
Hmm.
So that's going to be fun. It's going to be
And what's
being
the location?
here. And we're here located in Viroqua, Wisconsin. So it's in this area right here.
That sounds amazing. I wish I was a little bit closer to
Me too.
join. I recently discovered I have something to say on canvas, so that would be that would be great. And drumming is just amazing. I just had interview today with Sherry, and she did the drumming on our retreat. That was just amazing experience, and combining these two arts together. I don't know. Explosive stuff can happen, beautiful things. So, Wisconsin, sign up.
Thanks.
We'll post the links. You got to
We
sign
will.
up. This is really, I would say, this is a deeper way of doing self care because it brings out the joy, it brings out your creativity, and allows you to relax your mind. Put the thinker away and let your soul speak through the canvas and through activities that they are having there for you. Very great. Great stuff. Good stuff. From myself in Texas, mostly online, but also in person for those who are interested in a Dreamcatcher workshop. And till June 18, the registrations are open. We are starting June 21st. And the journey of the dream catcher, it's 5 week guided meditations, guided contemplation, and we have 5 calls that you will be able to ask questions or you will receive the help to process things. So I work with the dream catcher and I also do art and I don't do drumming daily. Not something that I'm into, more like speaking and meditating and things that you can see on my Facebook page. But this is what I'm doing this summer. There's 5 weeks guided journey with 5 Zoom calls, and each Zoom call has meditation and guiding prompts for your internal work, going deep into the roots of things, pulling out not just weeds, but pulling out the things that you were not aware of, the things that are also amazing about you. Because sometimes we forget or we don't see, we are not aware about how amazing we are, how powerful we are. And that, not to say the power to control, it's the power to create things, beautiful things that support you and support others in life. And maybe will wake up in you that healer that will create new modality and help more people. And that's my hope. So until the next time, from
One
Sabina.
question, Dorotka.
Yes,
Are you guys gonna be doing a dream catcher? Because you did some physics dream catchers. Is that something
yes.
that you're gonna be
You
doing too?
can order them if you like, but that would have to happen now because I just have one sample at home and then I have to actually produce those templates for others, the assembly kits. So that's yes. But the one in person, I'm thinking to create the dream catcher from things in the nature. So maybe going 1 week and finding material in the nature without harming nature to build the dream catcher, adding extra whatever I found birds feathers around the lake. I went to the forest and I found flexible branches from the plants that like to climb without destroying the plant, grabbing that and creating the reef first and adding stuff to it with the meaning. So I'm hoping to do this in person. So for whoever is interested in joining this and creating stuff that will, it's fun for one, it's community, which is great because we are creatures of community. When we meet, we come up with new ideas and we create friendships, and we learn a lot about ourselves too from others. And then you have a tool that you can work on your internal stuff with that, with my help.
Great, and that also it's like with the painting, it brings so much symbology, right? So like which feather did you
Right.
pick? What
Mm-hmm.
branch is it? And then you can see these are your gifts that are being shown in that dream catcher.
Yes.
Beautiful. Love it.
Thank you.
You should post some pictures.
Meet you at the end of the summer, right? The
We
end of the summer
will.
podcast. All
Much
right.
more to
Until then,
come.
take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you.